Double taps, coffee brews, we're like, here we go. I'm the broken baker, chat's coming in slow. Lawyers pace, jury sits, the room hums alive. Leaning forward, screens glowing, this is where we thrive. We read this stream from roll real. Chat's the heartbeat, loud and clear. Trials come and go, but we stay near. Crimes up, crimes down, you're always here. Evidence drops, lawyer jumps, tension spikes. We freeze frame, the jaw drop, chats and lower yikes. Not mocking the mess, just sharing the rush. Even silence feels like a crush. We read this stream from roll real. Chats the heartbeat, loud and clear. Trials come and go, but we stay near. Crimes up, crimes down, you're always here. So grab your mug and don't be late. The baker's life will set it straight.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, whoever you are, what if any you might be. Court went live a little bit early, so we are live. And as you can see, apparently I am now the next part of the drama because I am a meanie peenie and I am very evil. I love this person who admired me so much that they never ever made one comment, got one timeout, or had any messages heard. The only chat message they made in the last year is this chat message. So I like that people watch. You don't have to participate. I then went to my twit and they were mad that I had deleted them. I have deleted a ton of people the last 2 weeks because Massachusetts is a hellhole. It's a place where injustice runs wild. It's a place where a woman sits in prison because she can't blow into a scram tube after being pew-pewed in the chest. And the most important part is apparently that I support Turtle Boy and Declarer. Because of all my Turtle Boy and the Declarer pro streams that I have made with all this drama, I haven't spent any time saying stop all of this
morning and start her testimony. That would be ideal. If not, she can testify in the afternoon. And she's the state, right? Correct. She's also going to. I'm also going to be introducing a jail call through her as well and publishing a jail call.
Is there an agreement from the parties on the contents of the statement?
So
that need to be skipped over and redacted?
So late last night, I finished going through the entire 11-hour statement. I finished around 2 o'clock in the morning. So I didn't want to call Mr. Tomas at 2 o'clock and wake him up. I have timestamps of what I believe are either irrelevant or inadmissible. Mr. Tomas and I spoke briefly this morning.
Why hasn't it been fixed before?
There is a point in time in which when Detective Janoris walks in at some point, she goes to Ms. Lang, I have a question for you. What happened on Monday? And I can't remember the exact words that are used, but Ms. Lang volunteers that she smashed the window of the truck that we discussed during the Williams rule. Ms. Lang's response to all of that in context is that was immediately after the victim had a pistol with her. I can read that portion in time because obviously the court says that could not be used as a Williams rule. I do think it's relevant in this case in that context, but if the court's order is that cannot come in, I'll need that entire portion.
So Janoris comes back in and that's an isolated mini conversation.
Yeah, it's I have my timestamp here. It is during the full 11-hour statement. It is at 8:29 8 hours and 29 minutes, and it goes 8 hours, 29 minutes, and 17 seconds.
But it is isolated.
Correct, yes. That's the only actual portion about the truck that's ever involved, but I do think it goes directly to the state of mind of the defendant. It goes directly to the defense's argument that had been brought out multiple times now that the victim had pistol whipped her prior to, that she was in fear, et cetera, et cetera. I think it goes directly to her state of mind. If the court's ruling still is that I cannot bring that up, I would just ask to revisit it on rebuttal at that point in time, but I understand whatever the court's ruling is.
Let's just work backwards. Do you want that in or out, Mr. Gomez? Okay, so it'll be redacted.
Sure.
Leave it however way. The other parts regarding this person getting arrested, that person getting arrested, are both sides in agreement for those?
So I've muted, sorry, let me phrase it this way. I have my lit support currently.
Congratulations, Damien.
All specific mentions of any actual acts of domestic violence or arrests that are brought up. I intend to elicit testimony from Detective Janoris that this was a volatile relationship, that there were acts of domestic violence that were occurred, but I don't want to get into the specifics because as Ms. Link mentions.
Let me ask you this, how are you gonna ask Janoris about their relationship?
Did the defendant tell you that this was a volatile relationship? She actually, the exact words that Ms. Link uses in her statement was this was toxic as hell.
Okay.
Did she tell you that this was a toxic relationship? Did she tell you that it was volatile? Did she tell you that there were acts of domestic violence that were committed by Pedro Jimenez against Ms. Link? She will answer yes.
But all of those words that came out of Ms. Link's mouth are in the report, right?
To a certain extent, yes. Ms. Link gives specific examples. She says she woke up in a bathtub. She doesn't give a time, a date, anything like that, but she says it happened a while ago, which is also corroborated by Ms. Link's statement to other officers that, yeah, Pedro had a past, but that was very long ago. Ms. Link also talks about how with the bathtub incident, she says, well, that was the last time I got arrested.
But why revisit it again with Janoris? What's the purpose?
Because as of right now, those things really haven't come into evidence, right? The actual acts of domestic violence that are spoken about are not really.
What's the purpose of having Janoris highlight?
I'm not highlighting.
Half a dozen, so.
No, I'm not going to have her speak about any of them. And as we talked about yesterday, the only thing that I'm going to have her talk about is did Ms. Link tell you it's a toxic relationship, etc.? Did she tell you there were acts of domestic violence? I don't intend to have her say, yeah, she told me about the bathtub incident. She told me about this. She told me about that.
I'm not answering my question. What's the point of having Janoris repeat these? The jury's already going to hear it from the video. Why?
No, they're going to be muted because, again, the court's rulings during the motion in limine that those specific acts were not coming into evidence. The only actual act that was going to be discussed was the pistol whipping incident from 5 days ago. So what I'm asking Detective Janoris to testify to is, did Ms. Link tell you that there were acts of domestic violence? She will say yes, and then I will stop. Did she say that there were acts of domestic violence that Ms. Link also committed against Pedro Jimenez? She will say yes, and then I will move on. And the reason why is because it shows the totality of that actual relationship, and it's inextricably intertwined with my theory of the case that this was a toxic, volatile relationship with domestic violence going both ways.
So, Judge, what I would say to that is nobody's disputing that this was a toxic relationship. My concern is we have a statement where Ms. Link talks about why it's a toxic relationship, but we're going to mute that, but then we're going to let this person give a secondhand account of a statement that's going to be in, but it's going to be redacted. I don't see why those two scenarios should coexist.
Well, so I don't have to play the statement at all. I can publish only even portions of it. The law is incredibly clear that I'm allowed to present evidence as I want to, that this is not applicable to the best evidence rule either. And again, the court has already ruled that those specific acts of violence either way are not coming into evidence.
So then why would I allow Janoris to say in court? They can't come in.
I'm not going to ask her about specific acts. I'm going to ask her, did Ms. Link tell you about Mr. Jimenez committing domestic violence? Did Ms. Link say she committed domestic violence? I'm leaving it in a very broad sense because Ms. Link talks about her actual arrest, which I don't think, based off the defense's arguments last week, and the court's inclination prior to, that can come in, right? We're talking about the second phase of the case at that point in time. Same thing with the victim's arrest. She says he was arrested for this, the bathtub. He wrote a letter to his mom. None of that is relevant to this case.
So you want to be able to corroborate that, there was domestic violence on both sides?
Correct, which is my theory of the case.
So what we want to do is, the half dozen or so specific incidents from the actual video, based on my ruling, should come in. But the state still wants to paint a picture that there were acts, not necessarily criminal acts, acts on both sides. And it sounds like a pretty general, they want to elicit pretty general evidence from the detective regarding that. I think based on the way that they want to elicit it, it won't be a feature of this detective's testimony.
No, it'll be seconds.
So what's?
Well, if it's limited to the very general questions that he just,
Yeah, I misunderstood. I thought you wanted Norris to say, wasn't there rats in this?
Absolutely not, no.
Okay, that was my bad.
okay, so if it's limited to those very general questions, then
Right, and so it goes into their theory of there were ups and downs.
that's
You
fine.
used the word volatile, so I'll allow that.
Judge, I want to give you a heads up. I just sent you an email. I copied the state. So there is an order dealing with the custody of the kids. I did locate it. It's part of the dependency case. The clerk will not give me a copy unless you sign the order. So I'm asking, I sent you a proposed order. I don't know if you want to tweak it a little bit, but I tried to cover all the bases there. They don't have the file right now because it just so happens that just yesterday, they finally quashed that pickup order, which had been outstanding for a long time. So just so the court knows, now that that pickup order is quashed, maybe Ms. Link's mother will change her mind and provide Pedro Jr. I'm going to be at the state attorney's office on Monday morning to conduct depositions anyways. So if she brings Pedro Jr., then we can resolve that on Monday morning. If she doesn't, I have no control over what she decides to do, but just wanted to make the court aware of it.
We'll still need to litigate a few things regarding that child, and then I would also, so I don't know the statute off the top of my head, but there is a statute that says any party, including the court, can move for a hearing on whether or not it'll be traumatic to a child witness to testify in front of the defendant. If we get to that point, I'm going to be moving for that child to be given his testimony, not in the courtroom as well, but we can cross that bridge when we get there.
So, I'll go ahead and have the set, threaten me a copy of this, and it looks like it's fine based on our review, I'll sign off on it. But this is for your case sheet, right? This is for your presentation of your case, so you may not, hopefully they get it to you today.
They're not gonna get it to me today, Judge. They said that if I show up, they're closed on Monday. I show up Tuesday morning at 9 with a certified copy, then they'll give it to me. I'd ask,
We're not today.
because they don't have the file because it was in court yesterday, because they just signed that order.
Do you know what's judge?
Probably not the same judge anymore, but.
How do I say this?
It's I asked you, I'm sorry, I just emailed this one. Oh, sure, thanks.
I'm not sure which judge it is, Your Honor.
You made some phone calls. But you want to present this when you start your case on Tuesday?
Yeah, it's a self-authenticated certified document. Looks like Michelle Alvarez Barakat signed the order, the old order. I don't know if there's a new judge assigned to it now. It just says
She's
cancellation.
still over there, so it's probably.
Okay.
We'll make some phone calls.
And Judge, I'll send you, if you don't mind, once there's a certified order, if there's a way that you can email it to this supervisor clerk, and I'll send you the email. Just, I don't know, so.
Once my JA gets it, I'll have her send it over to Judge Barakat. She can copy both sides, and, I think I can ask for a certified copy, which probably, I'll probably get it before you get it on Tuesday.
I would think you would.
Let's hope they do that. Jim, like, you're probably giving that professional case.
Thank you, Judge.
There's one other issue that I spoke to Mr. Tomas about that I think is actually very.
Going back to the statement.
Sure.
We'll just talk about it over lunch.
Yeah, absolutely. I have, like I said, I have my own timestamps. I'm asking Mr. Attal, the reason why.
It's not the
doing
same,
this is
Judge.
We don't have the actual statement yet. Like I said, I finished it late last night. I have timestamps, but when I went to my litigation support team this morning, their timestamps are used on a different program that is significantly more accurate than the program that I am given. They're off by about a minute or so. So while we're in the trial, Mr. Attal is confirming the actual timestamps, but I have what I have, which I think.
What is he literally reading?
Basically.
Going over the video?
Basically.
Your Honor, so there's essentially internal timestamps that are already embedded into the actual interview, so I'm just cross-referencing those.
And then I'll be able to provide a copy of that to everybody, but I can speak to Mr. Tomas about what I'm actually planning on redacting and removing from that video itself.
I wanted to, just gonna tell them what to take the jury on that side. Can I revisit a little bit what we discussed yesterday regarding the,
First, Miranda.
yes, but also the, I'd like to file my email with the court as according to the one. My concerns regarding the spontaneous statements. Okay, nothing in this email is anything different than what we generally discussed before, but it sort of narrows, it not sort of narrows down my concern about the way that the spontaneous statement came out. And, my belief that the instruction I gave to the jury about, how the jury should view the spontaneous statement, I think I'm correct, so I just wanted the appellate court to see what I was thinking and the case law that I provided to you all yesterday, so that'll be important to the one. Well, in the context that it was said, it was pretty jarring. I understand it may not fall into the spontaneous statements category. We haven't heard all the evidence yet, and the jury's supposed to keep it in mind. If Ms. Borrell testifies and more evidence comes out about Ms. Link and her self-defense claims, I think that statement is less impactful. Does that make sense, Mr. Thomas?
Yes, sir.
We still have to look at we're only halfway through the trial, there's still half more evidence, half as much more evidence that needs to be admitted, and there's something stopping me from saying something along the lines of family knew it was quote unquote a bad relationship, and it's not unreasonable to believe that something bad was going to happen to either side, something along those lines, right? Okay. Not yet.
Yes.
All right, did you and Ms. Link talk about the Miranda waiver? Yeah, 44.
Yes, she wants the whole thing in, including the
I went back and I looked over the Miranda waiver in the second one. While the police say something along the lines of, so you want to talk to us, we have to go over your rights again. They use the word again a couple times.
Which, sorry not to cut the cord off, that's muted.
Oh, well, I was going to say, that doesn't indicate that she has invoked her right to remain silent. Just because they're going over the Miranda rights a second time or again, it's not a comment on the silence. So yes, the state is going to mute that. I don't think they need to mute that because this doesn't indicate that. My concern is a comment on the silence. And so,
Yeah, I would just ask they play it, but no commentary, no unsolicited comments from the witness like we had yesterday with that
right,
detective.
my point is, it's not necessary for us to talk about the first Miranda.
Yes,
Because the second Miranda doesn't indicate a comment on her silence or the invocation of any rights, number one. And number two, since it's in the benefit of Ms. Link to have this statement come in, I would think that we would want to streamline it.
yes.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So if you. As
You won't be able to see that, that's family court.
Strategy-wise, it's better for me to have the statement come in. It looks like it's coming in with certain protections. For example, the jury's not going to know that you were arrested. Does that make sense? Okay. So what would be the logic in bringing in the first statement where you would vote?
Because they spoke to me outside of the board either way. They were speaking to me the entire time, even though they weren't supposed to. They basically coerced me into signing that second sheet when they took me to the bathroom with an entirely different investigator from the DV department.
But at this stage, you're agreeing that what's in the full interview is better for you
Correct, yeah.
for this trial. So why can't we just move on and not from your point of view, understand that you're getting an overall benefit, even though there's parts of it that you don't agree with, the way that they got you to speak, for example.
I can understand that.
You also understand that there wasn't a motion to suppress filing. So the court didn't have the cops come in and prove to me that your Miranda statement was a knowing voluntary waiver. We didn't have that argument. That's a constitutional motion that could have been filed, just like the standard ground, but that wasn't in front of the court either, right? So that, to me, that's also like a strategic point of view, strategic move by the defense, right?
Yes.
Okay, so do you want to couple, so it sounds like you don't want to talk about the first Miranda waiver. Okay, because if you do, you and I have to have an in-depth conversation about what it means for this jury to understand that you invoked your rights. And essentially, it's a comment on your silence, which has all sorts of huge constitutional ramifications that need to be weighed in this courtroom for appellate purposes. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So why don't you just talk to her real quick about
Yeah.
us not going into the first Miranda?
Judge, I'm just gonna step outside.
Yeah, I'll step outside too. Are you on record, Jason? I see.
First, some bills to pay, because this case is gonna probably last forever. Casey Gypsy, thank you for the 5 corner kisses over on Buy Me a Coffee. Bob One Up, thank you for becoming a member, and congratulations to the 5 memberships gifted by Holly Mack to Miami Spice, Lexi the Law Nerd, Gina Gugelo, Brett, and Scully X. Thank you all so much. And for those people who might wondered what that thing was about, apparently I'm a bad guy now and part of all the drama. The Broken Baker unfollows me because of my anti-Turtle Boy and Clara stance. No, it's because I unfollowed a lot of people who are just keep going with all of this drama. Who is Olivia? Is Ray from Austin a black guy? Then he has a show condemning misogynist because unfollowing someone on the Twitter is misogyny. Remember that. Or maybe it's, I don't understand. For real, pot kettle. I don't know what makes me misogynist by not following you on the Twitter. I don't know why 18 people likes it, but hey, for real, pot kettle. A Dane calling people retarded. Pot kettle. Ruby, you just did what all the stupid aunties do all the time. You called me retarded because I'm Danish. I would like you to know that the Danish average IQ is higher than the American average IQ. So when you're out here starting all the drama, trying to get all of us into drama, just don't try and use words like that. Again, I do this in my 3rd language almost every day. All you do is sit on Twitter and try to start beef because I don't know why people all of a sudden don't like Turtle Boy and the Clara. Peace be upon them. I don't care. I have different things to do. Another YouTuber up Connie's ass. Again, you would feel it if I was up someone's ass. That's just saying. And then Grace Xgi says, haha, I got unfollowed too. Really kind of hurt, but my membership to his channel runs out soon, so I'm back to being nothing. No, you're always something. just because you don't have a membership to my channel, I'm the worst channel to be a member of. He's been showcasing jokes, chats about people's parents taking too much Tylenol. Can't be echo chamber, echo chamber if that doesn't in fact, if it doesn't in fact echo. Look, who is the fault of all of this? Fucking Zach. Yes, it's Zach, that asshole. I'll give Grant a little credit for taking a joke. He didn't even take my rents when I said his mom drank too much Tylenol. Apparently, I'm not allowed to showcase that. Everyone who watched that stream knows I didn't condone it or say he should do it. I don't know why all these people want drama, but drama we have now. I am one of the bad boys, and I'm just, yeah, it'll be fine. We've been down before, we'll get up again. At least Money G has some sway. Well, I just love that they attack me for letting Zach say stupid stuff, and then they say Danes are stupid. Average IQ. Hey, Grok. Maybe I should do that. But yeah. Oh, yes. Oh, I'm in more drama. I put in Kelsey Fitzsimmons lived in the wrong state. And Shaslik, who's an absolute idiot as well. Your grifting days are numbered, boy. Can't hide the truth forever. Read affidavit. What? I really think a lot of people should stop being on the internets, because you don't get smarter, you just get dumber. No, there is, because of the different tariffs. There was 2 months where I couldn't ship anything. Then they said now it's fixed. Anything under, I believe, $100 that's marked clearly as a gift can be sent. Then I went in to try and buy, because I have to fill out all the stuff. What I'm sending, to whom I'm sending, and all of that, and buy that, and blah, blah, blah. And it won't accept any Canadian, American, or British zip codes. So I have all of it stacked. I was supposed to go to the post office today, but I had to go. My new glasses don't work. I feel sick when I have them on. So everything is packed. Everything is ready to go. I just need the post office to sell me some stamps so I can send it. But because of some new tariff crap, apparently we can't buy stamps online. When I try to buy it in the app we have, it says go online. When I go online, it doesn't work. And it's been like that for the last 2 months.
Trying to get as far as possible.
Yes, sir.
How are we proceeding on the first round?
So,
Judge, ready for the jury?
No.
so we'll leave the first one out, and like you said, they're gonna say, you're gonna read your rights again. That's fine.
I'm muting the part where they say we're gonna read your rights again. It's just gonna go into Detective Jim Norris. I can show everybody later when I have the actual redaction, because I don't remember it.
Do you think it's
I just don't want any mention of again or anything like that.
I would
because-
ask that again, Stan, that's the one.
Again, it's fine, because it's not a comment on her silence.
Right, but it implies that she was already read her rights, and that's my fear. If Ms. Link is willing to waive that appellate right to at least that portion of it, I'm okay with leaving it in. I'm just very concerned about even going near the idea that Ms. Link had invoked at any point in time. That's my fear, and as we have said a number of different times, I don't want this case coming back, which there is just case law after case law after case law that says any mention about any kind of first indication of Miranda rights is reversible error, and I don't want to even come close to
I
it.
know it's nuanced, but the second reading doesn't, it indicates second reading, it doesn't indicate a indication.
But Your Honor, they wouldn't even see a first reading.
Right.
It will essentially be cut off.
And we,
Hold on, I understand that where you're going regarding influence, but if nobody makes that argument, it is what it is, okay? And there's no evidence that-
Judge, respectfully, I'm not comfortable playing that if Ms. Link is not going to waive
No.
her appellate rights to that specific issue. I don't care about the first part coming in or her waiving there, but if there is a mention of, we're gonna read you your rights again, I'm not comfortable publishing that to the jury in any manner whatsoever. And the way I'm instructing Detective Janoris to limit that is, did Ms. Link approach you while you were fingerprinting her and explaining why she was being fingerprinted? Yes. What did Ms. Link say? Did you approach her? Did she approach you? She said, I didn't mean to kill him. Detective Janoris will say I said to Ms. Link, in order for us to talk to you, we have to go over your rights. And then I will discuss Miranda and discuss her waiving of Miranda and publish that portion of it. But I am not comfortable having any mention of again or anything like that, especially since we had a detective testify yesterday about Ms. Link not having to cooperate with law enforcement and objections sustained that were made by defense counsel about any kind of inference about her refusal to cooperate with law enforcement. I'm not comfortable, and I'm just not going to play it.
Understood. They'll play it with a waiver. And I still have to speak to Ms. about that. Are you agreeing?
So, as far as to there being mention of the word again, yes, I will waive any appellate issues as it relates to that very specific part being played.
And are you in agreement with me that while it says again, and you have to go over your rights again, it's going to be the same form, the state is concerned that there may be an inference that there's a comment on her silence.
Right, so I'm waiving that specific appellate issue, yes.
Ms. Lynn, do you understand?
Yes.
So even though Mr. Tomas believes legally he can waive this, it really is up to you to decide if you're going to allow the state to play the full second interview, the portion we're talking about now, about police going over your rights again. So you understand that no one's going to tell the jury that you invoked the first time. No one's going to tell the jury that you invoked your right to remain silent. No one is going to comment on your silence. But you're essentially agreeing that that is not going to be an issue for appellate purposes. Do you understand?
Yes.
You've had enough time to speak to Mr. Glass about that?
Yes.
Okay, do you need any more time to speak?
No.
Okay. Do you have any questions for me about what we just went over?
No.
All right. Okay, so I think you have a waiver.
Yeah, so I'll talk to the support about that later this afternoon when we actually publish that video and having that portion. There's a few other issues that I think are imperative to address. First and foremost, I walked outside, I made eye contact with one of the jurors, I recognized her, I said hello, I didn't realize who it was until I said that, and then there were a handful of witnesses around where the jury is, they're right outside the courtroom. I asked them all to just move away, so that way there'd be no.
That's fine. Well, I asked him virtually,
Yeah, they're right there. I just want to make everybody aware of that. The second issue is I want to make sure that we are not proceeding forward on any kind of suppression issue, because Ms. Lynn specifically said earlier that she was coerced into waiving Miranda, so she's going to be.
my understanding based on my conversation with her is she understands that no motion is suppressed.
Right. I just want to make sure that that is also on the record. And then the third
That's
thing.
right.
Yes. Understood.
And then the third thing is, I spoke to Mr. Tomas about this. I spoke to Sergeant Crementini on my way into the office this morning. What he informed me was basically this. The phone extraction that is currently in evidence is the entirety of the phone extraction. However, that was done sometime about 2022. Sergeant Crementini, who was working with a team at the time, now has access to better technology. And very recently, within the last week or so, he decided to plug that phone in again and do the extraction again on his computer. Additional data was able to be read.
Thank you, Tanya.
He called me this morning and informed me of that. I sent those text messages over.
If you like Mo, you have
Defense
great
Counsel this
taste.
morning. The way he explained it to me was,
That's.
no,
It sounds like I'm gonna have to have Richard.
Right.
Oh, can we just move on?
well, so yes and no, and I was going to suggest to the court that we do that, and that's why I'm kind of explaining it in the way I am. The way he explained it to me was this. Technology is ever changing. It's getting better, and as the technology gets better, the actual extraction itself is able to be read more fully by better technology. We now have better technology that is able to read that data and different data. The way he described it was basically like the DNA swab. DNA swabs get better over time. It's still the same blood, it's still the same DNA, however, you're able to read more. I sent over what he sent me today to Defense Counsel, which is a handful of text messages.
Please have a word to the jury all the way on the side, please. One man will communicate with me too close to us, please.
Those text messages are between Ms. Link and somebody by the name or saved in her phone as, I believe, Smoke. Those text messages include references to shooting people, shooting Smoke's girlfriend, etc. As I said, and as the court indicated about the Richardson, I was going to successfully do one. I don't think it actually.
Why is Smoke's text messages relevant to you?
It's not. So that's what I was going to say. It's not a discovery violation because all that data still existed and was turned over. It's just a newer program that is able to read that data more. It's inadvertent.
This is the same argument that Hank Brennan made when he found new evidence on, because he used new ways to look at the evidence. Oh, can we? Why? You have left the jury standing out there for 20 minutes now. You should tell these lawyers, we're back on Monday. On Monday, every fucking last piece of paper is checked. Every witness is here from 9 o'clock in the morning, and we are going to go. There will be no interruptions. I'm going to send the jury home now. You're staying here. We're going to have a pre-trial conference. We're going to make sure every single little bit of that 10-hour video that you want to cut and paste in is done. Nothing comes up Monday. If anything comes up Monday, it's thrown out. You are not allowed to bring it in. Go home, do your fucking homework. It's a 3-year-old case. It's 3 years. Why is he standing on day 3 in his case arguing, oh, by the way, I found new evidence that I haven't disclosed because, hey, you could have found it if you used the same program as me. This is ridiculous, and the judge needs to slam her foot. Send the jury out for an early lunch, send them home, tell them they can come back at 1 o'clock, and then tell this fucking prosecutor who has been trying to run this courtroom the entire time to shut up, sit down, and get his house in order.
Because again, we couldn't read it when this was actually turned over. It's prejudicial because it could affect Ms. Link's cross-examination.
Well, then they
or her
work
testimony,
Monday.
because
I
she
don't
says in her
care.
statement, for example, that she didn't
If
know
Columbus
anything about
could,
firearms, etc., but she's saying this to
get a
shield
day
people.
because
My
he
remedy
didn't
to it,
find
I
America,
will
they
not
can
use
work
it
on a day off.
whatsoever, and it will be excluded entirely, and I'm going to direct Detective Crementini to discuss on his direct examination the betterment of technology over time, and if he has done anything recently, specifically about the videos on Ms. Link's phone.
So it's only relevant, the betterment of technology is only relevant about the visuals on the phone.
Correct.
Have those been played?
One of them.
All right, is there something else that's going to be played?
Yes.
And do you have access to that, Mr. Tomas? You know what it is?
I'm not sure if there's any new information that I didn't already have.
So there's a few of them. There's the defendant and there's the defendant and the victim exiting the vehicle together which I'm gonna talk to him about the actual timestamp on Ms. Link's phone on that, which is somewhere in 10:30 time. The
31, that's the day of shooting?
the night before, so the shooting happens at like 3 a.m. They get outside of the vehicle at 10, which is corroborated by Ms. Link's statement. There is a video that I plan on publishing later with the children also, them acting as a family, and then the actual shooting itself. I was planning on talking to him about the timestamps.
And these are all 1 or 2 days before the shooting.
This is the shooting, the night of the shooting. These have already been turned over, and what I'm going to ask Sergeant Cremensini is, were you able to verify the 2022 extraction to whenever you did it recently? Are the videos changed in any way? And he will answer no. He will actually say exactly, I believe he said it was 861 videos that were on Ms. Link's phone are the exact same from a few weeks ago to the data that was extracted. There's no change whatsoever when it comes to the videos.
So, I guess just so the sufficiency of the investigation, they explain it that, which is why the testimony will come about recency and extraction of videos on the phone, even though they've had it for 3 years.
So it sounds like, at least with the videos, I have all the videos already. The only difference is that they were able to get timestamps from within the data.
No, so if you look at my computer, I'll show you. So if you look at, I know the court can't see it, but just for the purposes of the record, if you look on the actual Cellbrite report, which is what is furnished to me, the
It was
shooting
actually
occurs
the
with
Vikings.
timestamp of when it was created at 6/25/2022, and there is a 6-minute and 57-second video. Part of that was published yesterday. It's created at 3:06 a.m. When this link is seen, it's about 6 minutes into the video. I'm going to have Sergeant Cremensini say, okay, if this is started at 3:06, that means that this occurred around 3:11, 3:12. Then I'm going to show him the call log of the defendant with the 911, showing that 911 was called around 3:27 a.m. All of this has already been in defense counsel's possession. Nothing with the regards to the video has changed whatsoever. The only difference is that the technology changed so that we can better read information, and these text messages that were now being able to be read were now furnished to defense counsel. I do not intend to use them whatsoever. I wanted to make sure that that was on the record, that I am giving the remedy of that exclusion of that evidence, regardless of
And
the.
the few that you want to play, because you already said that she came looking for him at, what's his name, Brian, what?
Kevin Williams.
Kevin Williams' house, it goes hand in hand, that they were getting along.
Correct.
Until the time of the shooting.
Yes.
So it sounds like it's relevant.
So I don't have a problem with the better being able to pinpoint the time that the videos happened based on this new data. That's fine.
No. This the extraction that I have. This is from 2022. Nothing has changed. What I'm talking about, the data being better and the extraction being better, solely goes to the text messages. I'm just going to ask Sergeant Cremensini, did you confirm when you got better data, better technology, were you able to confirm that the videos that were extracted are exactly the same? There's no additional videos or anything like that.
So Judge, my only concern would be bringing in text messages or anything else that I hadn't seen up until now, but it sounds like they're not doing that.
That's
So-
correct. That's
So then
correct.
there's no problem.
Right.
You have to be careful with the word confirm. That's a conclusion, right? Why don't you ask him?
Well, he can, because number one, he's an expert. Number two, he will and can testify about hash marks and how you can confirm that the same data that is on the phone then is the same data that's on now. He will say they're the exact same hash marks.
So what, so you will start out by asking him, what's the date, whatever hash mark on this item versus this item? And then he can say factually that they're the same,
Yes.
and then you can ask them, do you confirm that they're the same?
Yes.
Do you understand why?
I do.
I'm concerned.
I do.
You just saying, this and this, are they the same, do you confirm?
No, I'm gonna lay significant predicate before I even get into that. And we can also go sidebar to make sure, or voir dire him outside the presence of the jury to make sure that everything that we do is in the correct way, so that way there are no issues later on.
I think we take whatever we know to take care of before these next witnesses testify.
Yes, ma'am.
Who's gonna be the first one?
We're recalling Detective Zapata. Sorry.
All right, so can I start?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
If you need to do something, no, just gonna have to down. I'll send you that.
This is such a disrespect to people who are forced to be there on jury duty. I don't know how much they're paid, but they're not paid enough for this waste of time. No, they are arguing the same argument they had yesterday. And it looks like we're going to watch a lot of video where we can't see anything. It's really annoying.
All right, jurors coming in. Jurors coming in.
All right, the jurors.
Yeah, it's disrespectful. You're paying people 10 bucks an hour to sit there and waste life.
Nine jurors, lawyers, seated, sorry for the delay, this is my fault. I blame all the delays on. The witnesses are outside, we're ready to go, state's gonna call the next witness.
Yes, Judge. At this time, the state calls Detective Sagata.
Who's calling Detective Zapata?
Judge, permission to reposition the podium?
Yes.
You have a standing permission. Well, did they exploit or did they just walk over the land bridge? Funny enough, Greenland was actually settled by the Vikings first, and then the original population moved over there later. Funny fact that people don't know. Yes.
All right, Detective, you're still under oath from the last time you testified. So we're not gonna swear you.
Oh, 10 bucks a day. Sorry, yes. Did I say an hour? I'm just angry. That's why.
Good morning, Detective Sagata.
Good morning.
Detective, I want to go back to photos you took from the scene when you arrived June 25th, 2022.
Okay.
You mentioned in your testimony that you photographed a vehicle.
That's correct.
I want to focus on the vehicle that was in the alleyway. What kind of vehicle was that?
It's a silver SUV.
And did that vehicle have blood on it?
Yes.
What? Well, we didn't lose anything. That's because the Vikings were smart people.
Evidence based on stipulation by the parties when it's been previously marked as 1T and 1V. 1U, sorry, Judge.
Oh, I feel sorry for you, Gina. I mean, oh, you're lucky. You're related to Fedorowski.
Mark for identification now becomes state exhibit 17, and 1U mark for identification now becomes state exhibit 18.
Permission to publish, Judge. Now, Detective, where is it that you photographed that there was blood on this vehicle?
That's on the exterior of the driver's door.
Is it right here?
Yes,
On the driver's side door?
that's correct.
I also want to show you. Is this when the vehicle was taken in?
Yes,
Did you seal off the vehicle, Detective, when you got to the scene?
yes, I did.
And what is here in the driver's side of the vehicle?
On the driver's side, on the driver's seat of the vehicle, you have a few items, such as a set of keys, bloodstained money, a bloodstained cell phone, and I believe a bloodstained piece of paper, maybe a check.
Where was there also blood-stained money when you photographed in the alleyway? Where was also money?
There was also a blood.
Where was also money? First of all, that's a leading question. Second of all, did you find blood-soaked money anywhere else? Yes. In the alleyway. Did you photograph these? Yes. Where were they? They were at his in his pants.
Stained bell on the alleyway in pretty close to where the victim was located.
And were these the items that were located in the driver's side of the vehicle, Detective?
Excuse excuse me, yes, those are the items.
And this credit card, whose name is on it?
The victim, Pedro Jimenez Gonzalez.
They walked across from Siberia to Alaska
I want to go back to
back
this photo right
when
here.
it was combined.
Can we see what's on the passenger side?
But we're all
Yes, that is a blue tank top.
from the same Earth Mother and Earth Father. So
Is that this same tank
we just
top
wrote the
that's
books
here?
about who
That's
found
correct.
Would you say that that is a woman's tank top or a men's tank top?
Woman.
Hold on, stop. It's the same. She's gonna ask another question. What about this type of clothing? Is that also found in the car?
Yes,
And based on your experience, detective, do you know whether what clothes can be men clothes or women clothes?
yes, I do.
What would you say these type of clothes are?
It's actually almost every.
It's the same. She's gonna ask another question. Now, detective, I want to go back to the blood trails for a moment. Did you have a chance to accurately and thoroughly review your report?
Yes, I did.
When you reviewed that report, detective, did you document when the blood trails first started, where they first started?
Yes, the stork is our shared ancestor. I forgot that. No, because he has passed away, so he is the victim. Because his death isn't ruled as an accident or a natural death. It is ruled as a homicide. Hey, anime, welcome to the last Monday of this week. And the rest is what? If it wasn't because I was such a misogynist and would be called out on Twitter for being mean, I would say the lacking percent is your soul because you're a redhead. But I would never do that because I, for one, has nothing against redheads or Swedes. Yeah, there's a lot of Irish Scottish mix, probably because a lot of them were in the British armies and then was moved all over the place and started some breeding. Hey, moderate. Hey, Akasha.
Okay, Detective Zapata. So the suspect blood trail, after you reviewed the report, where did the suspect blood trail first start?
The blood trail appeared to have first started in front of the residence. To explain,
That's
in front of the
misogyny.
residence, there's another set of duplex. In front of that duplex and on a concrete walk path near a tree is where I first noticed the set of apparent blood.
And I'm now publishing what's been admitted to evidence at stage 18. Now, Detective, when you say the front of the house, so is this the house, the defendant and victim's house?
Yes,
And when you say the front of the house, are you indicating somewhere in this area where this silver car is behind this tree?
yes,
So based on your report, was there a blood trail, suspect blood trail, right in front of the doorsteps of the victim and defendant's house?
no.
Moment to confer, Judge.
Hey, Kelly. Well, I am all the way Danish and a little bit Polish.
Detective Zapata, was mail also found in the car when it was impounded?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
Was mail, a piece of mail, also found in the car when it was impounded?
Yes, that's correct.
If I were to show you that, would you recognize it?
Yes.
Judge, I now move into evidence based on stipulation by the parties what's been previously marked as states 1V.
State Exhibit 1V, marked for identification, now becomes State Exhibit 19.
Permission to publish, Judge?
What the hell?
Now, Detective, is this a piece of mail that you saw?
Yes.
Whose names are on the piece of mail? Permission to approach the witness, Judge?
The names are Pedro Jimenez and Daisy Link.
And what address is there?
The address is 956 Northwest 4th Terrace.
No further questions, Judge.
In cross-examination for officers about that.
Yes, Your Honor, just a moment.
Yeah, it's getting crazy, especially food is getting crazy expensive.
Judge, before I start with her, by way of stipulation, I would ask that what's marked as Defense Exhibit A1 be admitted into evidence.
Defense Exhibit A1, marked for identification, now becomes Defense Exhibit A.
So, ma'am, we spoke yesterday. I'm gonna show you this again. I'm showing you what is already in evidence as State's Exhibit 6. Now, this is the home in question, correct?
Yes.
And you are the person who drew this red line yesterday, is that correct?
I'm sorry, can you go back to the first question?
To the first question?
Yes. Your first statement about the residence?
The home where Daisy Link lived.
Yes.
Is this the home?
Sorry.
Would it be easier?
Yes, sorry.
Okay. 1 minute.
Yes.
This is Daisy Link's home, right? What I'm pointing to right here.
If I'm not mistaken, this is still.
Oh, this one. Okay. So I'm gonna show this to you real quick.
Emspire's last name is patented in history. What that means, I don't know. My last name is the same as a farm.
But you see the line that you are the person who drew this red line, correct?
Yes.
And you would agree that it's a little hard to see because it's red, but right here, you drew a line that came all the way here, right to this area, which is where the front door of the residence is. Is that correct?
Yeah, funny that we're all in the same union, but it's cheaper to buy in other countries.
Yes, that's why I'm there.
Yes. And, okay, I think that should be the one. So as we spoke yesterday, by the way of reminder, there was some,
Oh,
also drew a line over here, this area here.
well, my name is also patented then because we bought it, and because there's not enough people who have had the name, it's ours.
This area over here, but there was no blood in this specific area right here. Is that
Correct, that line was to show the alleyway.
Okay. The blood was on the other side, which is over here where all this is, right?
Yes, there was blood leading up to where the victim was found collapsed.
And as far as your investigation goes and what you were able to determine, the blood trail began in this area here, in this general area here where this line starts. Is that correct?
Further, I don't recall the direction, but further, because of the trees, you can't really see the concrete walk path, but it's more so towards the front where there's a tree. You can't really see it in the picture. So it's in front of the residence, not so in front, but in front of the residence and in front of the duplex, where you see the bushes, the trees, that's where the blood appeared to have started.
So, just to be clear, the blood trail appears to start near the front door of that residence.
No,
Okay, how far away from the front door of the residence is it?
I would say if I'm standing,
From me to you?
if I'm standing in front of the residence, approximately maybe 15 steps, maybe approximately.
Okay, so maybe a little bit less distance between me and you right now?
I would say a little bit more, maybe.
15 steps is further away than I am from you?
I don't know, I'm giving you an approximate. I can stand up and walk toward and count.
Well, 15 steps, right?
Approximately, could be more.
Could be more, could be less too, right? You're not certain.
Correct.
So other than the items that other than the items that you discussed a few minutes ago, Mr. Jimenez's license and some other cards and wallet were found also, is that correct?
I would have to take a look at the photos.
Sure. Judge, if I may approach, I'm going to show you what's marked as Defense Exhibit 1. Does that appear to you to be the license of, well, actually, 2 licenses of Mr. Jimenez? There's 3 pages there if you want to take a look.
Yes, it says his name on them.
And there's 2 of them, right?
Yes.
Do both those licenses have the same address?
Yes.
And what address is that?
956 Northwest Fort Terrace.
That's not the address where Daisy Link lived on the day in question, correct?
It is not the same address.
No further questions?
Yes, please.
They're talking about distances. I don't know where we go. I don't know if I'm on Friday mode, but I am totally lost. What, if any, evidentiary value any of what we've heard has? I'm totally lost. At this point, I'm just here because Jamie would beat me if I left. I could just as well go watch a movie in the other room and come back in 2 hours and said, well, that was interesting. I have no idea what's going on in this case. Can we get back to the part where she shot him?
Judge, permission to approach?
I'm not sure.
Ms. Sabata?
One of my daughters get instant tan, just like I do. I'll get a little red for a day, but then I get a tan. My other daughter can't get a tan. She can be in the sun for 10 days just to get red.
Is the address that was listed on Mr. Jimenez's license to your left the same address?
I'll send
that
you
was
some of
listed
my
on the
whale
mail
tail
that was
pictures
found in the rental
from this
car
summer.
To your right?
Yes, it is.
And does that mail also have Stacy's
No.
name on it?
No. You can start now and be just as miserable as the rest of us. You will have missed nothing. There's blood on a car, and 15 feet is how long? This is all we've gotten through today.
Yes, it does.
And was this mail found in the car that Ms. Link was driving the night the victim was shot?
That's correct.
Actually calls for speculation as to Ms. Lincoln was driving the car.
It's the same. You want to re-ask the question?
Yes, Judge. Is that the same car that was found on the scene next to the victim's body in the alleyway the night he was shot?
That is.
No further questions, Judge.
You said that.
Wasn't she the one who had the fancy water the other day?
Next witness will be, say, the next witness will be
Dr. Mathis.
Dr. Mathis.
My ex-wife couldn't get tanned either.
He's trying to our friend that's testimony about to give the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
Talking about colors, this color is way too small. And why is every tie looking like my granddad's? In the summer, I normally I have an hour nap before I stream. I like to take that if it's sunny. I would like to take it in the sun. I don't know what's wrong in Florida and colors, but this guy, he had a way too small shirt on because you could see that it was pulled apart. If you're putting a tie on, you should button your topmost to keep the collar looking sharp. You can't buy a tie. Well, you can buy ties like that, but you have to go to a thrift store or something to get something like that.
The stipulation I'm going to, there is stipulations 1959 is the body of Pedro Jimenez. In other words, the legal identity of Pedro Jimenez has been established by stipulation of the parties. You can start questioning Dr. Mathis.
Yes, Judge. Good morning. Can you please state your name for the record?
Good morning. I'm Dr. Benjamin Mathis.
Mr. Mathis, what do you do for a living?
I am the Chief Medical Examiner of the Miami-Dade County Medical Examiner Department.
And how long have you been the Chief Medical Examiner?
10 days. Last week, they promoted me to Chief Medical Examiner. I've been Deputy Chief for the prior 3 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So you mentioned you've been Deputy Chief for 13 years.
I've been at the Medical Examiner Department for 13 years. The last 3 were Deputy Chief.
And can you tell the jury a little bit about your education and training in forensic pathology?
Sure. I went to Brown University in Providence, Rhode Island for my undergraduate degree in Classics Latin. And then I stayed at Brown for medical school where I graduated with a Doctor of Medicine degree. Then I went to the University of Pennsylvania in Philadelphia for my residency in pathology, anatomic pathology, and clinical pathology. After completing the residency, I came to Miami for a fellowship to subspecialize in the subspecialty of forensic pathology.
And are you board certified in forensic pathology?
I am.
About how many autopsies, Dr. Mathis, have you performed over your career?
Around 2,000.
And have you previously come to court to testify as to the cause of death of an individual?
Yes.
About how many times have you done that?
Several dozen times. I usually come about 10 times a year, 10 times a year times the 12 years, 13 years I've been here.
And were you qualified as an expert on each of those occasions that you came to testify?
I have.
In what field were you qualified as an expert?
Forensic pathology.
Now, Dr. Mathis, can you tell the jury what exactly a medical examiner does?
Sure. A medical examiner is a forensic pathologist who works for the government generally. And we're charged with investigating deaths of individuals who die either under circumstances or because of who they are that the state has an interest in. So all non-natural deaths will go to a medical examiner, accidents, suicides.
Vicky had, I'm fighting to not end the stream. It has been absolutely nothing for an hour and 12 minutes, and it feels like I've been streaming all day. Now we're getting the medical examiner. Hopefully he will bring some fire to it. We just discussed how much is 15 feet. It's going to be a long day.
Potential homicides, drug overdoses, inmates from the prison, those who die in police custody. And then when we investigate their deaths, we need to determine the cause of death, what caused them to die, and the manner of death, which is how we classify their death. We'll perform whatever investigations or studies we need to do, whether it's a record review, looking at their medical records, to performing a full autopsy, performing special dissections, having special tests run, studies done, also that we can determine what the cause and manner of death is.
And were you working as a medical examiner for Miami-Dade County on June 25th, 2022?
I was.
Are you the original medical examiner who did the actual autopsy on the victim, Pedro Jimenez?
Yes.
So I want to talk about your involvement in this case, Dr. Mathis. When did you perform that autopsy?
June 26, 2022.
Where did you perform it?
At our office, it's a medical examiner department. It's right across the street from Ryder Trauma at Jackson Medical Center next to Miami-Dade College Health Campus.
And when the body arrived for autopsy, what was its general condition?
He was in a fresh state. He had soiling from blood staining on his legs.
And did you observe any signs of medical intervention, such as bandages, anything like that on the body?
Yes, he had a tourniquet on his right thigh.
Now, can you walk us through the steps you take when performing an autopsy, Dr. Mathis?
Sure. So first, we capture the height and weight. We take a receiving photo of the individual. Then if it's a suspected homicide, we'll get pictures of the hands. Then we'll collect fingernail clippings as evidence. The body will then be washed. We'll take photographs, overall photographs of the individual. And then if there are any tattoos or injuries, we'll take photographs of those. Once the photographs have been taken, then the doctor will take any written notes about the external appearances of the body, of the tattoos, of the injuries. And then at that point, an internal examination, or what people colloquially call the autopsy, will begin to be performed.
So you mentioned a lot of stuff there.
Yes.
So I want to break that down. Can you explain to the members of the jury what an external exam is?
Sure, so external exam sounds just like that. We're taking note of the external features of the body. First, there's the routine, their body size, their body habits, their height, their weight, their eye color, their hair color. And then we will, after all the regular stuff has been documented, then we'll turn to our tattoos and scars. And then then we'll move into injuries. If there are any external evidence of injuries, then we'll document those down as well.
So you mentioned that you document tattoos. Did the victim in this case have a lot of tattoos?
He did,
And was one of those tattoos the name Daisy?
yes.
Now, you also mentioned you start with external injuries. So I want to talk about those. What external injuries did you observe on the victim's body in this case?
Yes, so he had a through and through gunshot wound on his right thigh and a through and through gunshot wound on his left foot.
Now, Dr. Mathis, you mentioned a through and through gunshot wound. Through the
I'm
right
sorry to
thigh
hear that,
and
Vicky.
left foot.
Yes.
So I want to break that down. I want to start with the left foot.
Recovery doesn't talk as much as I do over the trial, so I don't think it would work that well. But it could be fun too. It's a long time since I've been talking with him.
Your Honor, I now move into evidence what has been previously marked as states 1W by stipulation of the parties.
State exhibit 1W marked for identification now becomes state exhibit 20.
I have my sister's first letter, and then I have the rooms for my daughters, and
Now,
these
Dr.
are also
Mathis,
for my
is
daughters.
this the victim's
I need
left
one for my
foot?
grandson.
It is,
Now, you mentioned that he had a through and through gunshot.
yes. Can I come down? I don't have my glasses.
Can you show to the members of the jury where the entrance wound is on this foot?
Maybe hard for you to see as well, but the entrance wound is on the bottom of the left heel.
And how do you know it's the entrance wound?
So, in general, entrance wounds are round, they can have a rim of abrasion. In this case, though, his skin is different than the rest of the skin on the body. Regular skin, a lot of it has hair. Foot skin, the plantar skin, the skin on the bottom of the foot, it's thicker, it's more elastic than the rest of the body, and you can use a foot rub and attach to it or to remove a splinter. So when a bullet goes through the skin of the sole of the foot, the plantar skin, the tissue is very elastic, so it will retract, allow the bullet to come in. So when you have an entrance wound on a bottom of the foot, you're going to see more of a slit-like appearance. In this case, you can even see a halo where the bullet tunneled in, but the skin retracts after it, and it's just the nature of the skin on the bottom of the foot.
And in this picture, where is the exit wound?
The exit wound is on the Achilles tendon region on the back of the heel.
How do you know that's the exit wound?
Exit wounds are irregular. Oftentimes you can take them and push them together, the edges together. You can see that this has a kind of split-like irregularity to it, and that the pieces fit together like a puzzle.
And now, Dr. Mathis, looking at the entrance and exit wound, can you determine the path the bullet took when it entered the foot?
Yeah, so this is the entrance wound, that's where it's what we call a perforating wound. So it's entering through the sole of the foot, the left heel, and it is going through the soft tissue and coming out the back of the heel region of the region.
Now, Dr. Mathis, you also mentioned that the foot is flat and it has tougher skin, is that right?
The sole of the foot, yes.
Well, the good thing is we can show the autopsy photos because no one can see anything.
A person wearing a shoe, would that move the path of the bullet when it enters the person's foot?
Move the path of the bullet So sometimes when you're wearing clothing or shoes, it can change the appearance of the entrance wound, it can add irregularity to it. It can also help us to confirm what we're seeing. So if you're looking at this or you're less experienced and you don't have a lot of experience looking at plantar wounds on the bottom of the foot, you can look at the clothing and you can, or the shoe, and you can interpret the directionality from the shoe or the clothing itself.
And what is this photo here?
That's a close-up of the exit wound on the back of the heel on the Achilles tendon region.
I'm sorry, it's an Achilles.
Achilles tendon region, the back of the heel.
And how do we know that's the exit wound?
It has all the features of an exit wound. So you can see the skin kind of puts back together with a puzzle piece. If I push the edges together, it has an irregular linear. It's kind of linear, but it's irregular. That makes the features of an exit wound.
And what about this photo?
That is a close-up of the entrance wound on the bottom of the foot.
And how do we know that?
Because of the way it looks. So, like I said, normally an entrance wound is going to be round, but because of where the location is on the sole of the foot and the nature of the skin down there, entrance wounds on plantar surface can look linear. The bullet just kind of separates the tissue, comes in, and the tissue collapses behind it.
Now I want to go back to, you mentioned shoes, and that can change the shape or irregularity of a wound. Was the victim in this case wearing shoes, do you know?
Yes,
Did you receive those shoes?
I did.
What kind of shoes were they?
They're like a boot, casual boot.
Judge, I now move into evidence what has been previously marked as states 1X. By stipulation of the parties, Judge.
State exhibit 1X marked for identification now becomes state exhibit 21.
Permission to publish, Judge? Dr. Mathis, are these the shoes that you received from the victim, that were recovered from the victim's body?
Yes. They came with them.
And what are we looking at here with the white, where the white stick is pointing?
So there is a hole next to the white stick. This is the outer edge of the left heel region of the shoe. And then below it, we have red discoloration, which looks like blood. This is just a further out photograph, so you can see the entire shoe.
What's interesting about this picture, Dr. Mathis?
So this is the back of the shoe, and if you recall the wound I kept referring to as on the Achilles tendon on the back of the foot, this is correlates with it. This is where it came out from. So it came out of the skin, and then it came out of the shoe, creating this irregular defect here.
So that's where the exit wound came out of.
Yes.
And where was this, what part, is this the entrance or exit wound entry?
This is the entrance wound. You can see the fibers of the fabric or leather are pointing inward, and it's creating a defect. So that's consistent with entrance wound.
Does anyone know what we're looking at?
Now, you also mentioned that in this case, the victim had a wound to the left foot and a wound to the right thigh.
That's correct.
I want to talk about the wound to the right thigh. Judge, I now move into evidence what has been previously marked as 1Y by stipulation of the parties.
State exhibit 1Y marked for identification now becomes state exhibit 22, Judge.
Now, Dr. Mathis, is this the wound on the right thigh?
Yes, so what you're looking at here is the victim lying on his belly on our autopsy table. So you're looking at the back of his lower extremities, the back of his leg. His buttock would be here, right above where the picture cuts off.
And is the wound to the right thigh, did it have both an entrance and exit wound?
It has both an entrance and an exit.
And this wound is the entrance?
Is the entrance.
How do we know that for the right thigh?
Because of the way it looks. Sorry. Because of the way it looks. We interpret gunshot wounds, entrance, exit based on their morphology, the way they look. And this one, you can even see from this view, better closer up, but you can see from this view, it's nice and it's has a round this punched out appearance to it.
Now, what are we looking at now?
Now, this you're looking, he's lying on his back there. And up here above, that would be the groin region and above, and then looking at from the top of the thighs down. And within the tattoo, there is a gunshot wound there.
Is this a better view of the front of the victim's thigh?
Yes,
And what exit wound is that?
that is the exit wound. That's on the front of the thigh. That's the exit wound. Same thing. That's the orientation.
What about this picture?
So now we're back on the back of the thigh. This is an entrance wound. You can see it has a punched out appearance. You can see the yellow in the middle, that's the fat, the soft tissue underneath the skin. So that's missing, that's the drum gunshot. You can see it's got like this oval, it can be round, it can be oval, it can be elliptical, depending on the angle that they go in. Going around the wound.
I think this is the wound. No, of course this is not the wound because we can't show this. This is a tattoo of a cartoon lady with a very big hair.
And then you see that there is what we call abrasion, some scraping of the tissue around the edges of the wound. These are all features of an entrance wound.
Now, Dr. Mathis, for his right thigh, were you able to determine the path the bullet was taking?
Yes, so this is the entrance wound, it's on the back of the thigh, so it's going from back to front.
Is the way that the bullet entered through the back of his right thigh consistent with the victim facing his back to the person who shot him?
The back of the victim needs to be facing the barrel of the gun.
So yes.
Yes.
Would it be consistent if you were facing the person who shot him?
No, because the barrel of the gun has to be pointing toward the back of the thigh.
Now,
That's not good testimony
Judge, I
for
now
her.
move to evidence what has been previously marked as stage 1Z by stipulation of the parties.
Stay exhibit 1Z, marked identification, now becomes stay exhibit 23, Judge.
Judge, permission to publish? Yes. Now, Dr. Mathis, what are we looking at here?
We're looking at the exhibit line spot on his back on the autopsy table, and I took hospice probes and
No, it's a pew-pew.
ran them through, placed them through the pathways of the two gunshot.
So this is the wound to the foot.
Correct. And now it kind of makes more sense when you saw the shoe and how it looked on him. Harder to appreciate when you're just seeing the whole stuff. With the probe, it makes it easier to visualize.
Now, Dr. Mathis, I want to take everything together, what you said. We spoke about the left foot, the path of the bullet. We spoke about the right thigh and the path of that. Judge, I now move into evidence what has been previously marked as 1K by stipulation of the parties.
Stay exhibit 1K, marked identification, now becomes stay exhibit 24, Judge.
Judge, permission for the witness and myself to stand over here? Now, Dr. Mathis, can you explain to the jury what this diagram is indicating?
Sure, so this diagram here in the middle is the notes I take during the autopsy. We call it a body diagram sheet, and that's where I'm marking down his hair color, our tattoos,
And then I noted where the wounds were, what their size is.
And how
I like this demonstrative. That's actually one of those things that is missing in a lot of trials. You can see where the wounds are on the body instead of just a red dot. They have the picture next to it.
did the bullet first enter the body?
Having the bullet first enter the body. So he has he has an entrance wound on the left foot. That's coming out the back of the left heel region, and he has an entrance wound on the right thigh in the back that's coming out the front of the right thigh.
How is it possible that the way the bullet entered, how is it possible with that angle? How would the victim have had to have been standing for the bullet to enter the way it did?
From the bottom of the foot?
Yes.
So that's bottom of the foot. So to get an entrance wound on the bottom of the foot, the gun has to be under the foot. So if the foot is on the ground, it has to be, I guess, on the upper floor and coming through the ceiling, or the foot has to be in the air in order for it to get go in. So since that scenario doesn't really make sense, the left foot needs to be up in the air in order for it to be facing the barrel of the gun.
Could that be consistent with if the victim was going to try to run, that his foot was up? Would that be consistent?
Yes.
Now, once the bullet enters the left foot and exit, where does it go?
So then it comes out the back of the left foot.
And then where does it go?
Then it's gonna continue in the same trajectory along a straight line until it hits something else,
And then can you just,
or just drops to the ground.
and then for the thigh,
Yeah, I do the
talk
same.
about how when it left the foot and enters the thigh, how that's possible.
So, yes, so the same bullet can cause both wounds. It can go from the outer edge of the left foot, the left heel, to the back of the left heel region. And then the foot's up in the air, it can go into the back of the right thigh and out the front. So it goes through the foot and then through the back of the thigh and out the front.
And you're indicating that the record reflects that the witness had his left foot up and his front was facing the judge.
Right, so your right leg has to be forward, your left foot is up, and you could create that pathway.
And your back has to be facing the person who's shooting.
Yes, the back of the foot, yes, because that's where it has to come inside.
Now, Dr. Mathis, looking at the wound tracks, is it possible that a single projectile did this?
Giggity.
Yes, in the way that I just described.
Yes, there was one shot. It was a through and through, as I see it, through the calf or the ankle on the left side, and then into the thigh on the right side, and that's where it nicks the artery. Looks like it goes through the foot, the ankle, and then into the thigh. But the big problem is his leg was up and his back was turned, so he was running away.
And okay, we're good. Now I want to talk about the internal examination. Did you perform an internal examination?
I did.
As I understand it, he must have been in this position. So he's running away. Come on, Bender, bend your leg. So his left leg is up, his right leg is forward. And the pew-pew goes through and hits him. Well, it has to be higher, but Bender isn't really cooperating. And the path is something like this. So his back was turned and he was running, and then it was a straight through and through. Pretty good. Don't go back. It's a very, very, very boring case. There was a video yesterday that was good, and this guy's good. Other than that, it's really slow.
Okay. And what internal damage did you observe as a result of the gunshot wounds?
So inside the body, his organs, those were all good. I had to do a special dissection on his right thigh to document the injuries going on within the soft tissue. And he had a lot of blood and bleeding in the muscles of his right thigh, in the region of that gunshot wound. And he had holes in his femoral artery and femoral vein.
You mentioned he had holes in his femoral artery and vein. Did the bullet strike or sever those major arteries?
Yes, the bullet struck those arteries.
And now, Dr. Mathis, based on your expertise and experience, would an injury to the femoral artery, such as a gunshot wound, cause rapid or severe blood loss to someone?
It will cause severe blood loss. The blood comes from the heart, is pumping. The femoral artery comes off after the aorta branches into the iliac. The femoral artery is one of the branches that comes off the iliac artery, and it supplies blood flow to the rest of the leg. So it's a very important blood vessel, and it will bleed, and you will lose a lot of blood from it.
And are you able to estimate about how quickly a person can lose consciousness or die from such bleeding?
So when we're talking about a femoral artery, it will take longer than, say, if you have a hole in your aorta or a hole in your lung or a hole in your heart. It's a bit downstream. So it can take several minutes, and then there are things that can mitigate it. If you're applying pressure, or
I just
if for some
regurgitate what he
reason
says.
muscle tissue is compressed around the wound, anything that's going to apply pressure to that area can slow down the bleeding.
Now, you also mentioned that several things can mitigate that. Let's say, Dr. Mathis, that there was no mitigation. There was no covering or trying to prevent the blood loss. If pressure is not being applied correctly, how fast would the victim take to die from this type of wound?
It can still take several minutes.
And is, based on your knowledge, was that consistent with what happened to the victim in this case?
I don't think there was a long survivability period, but I wasn't aware of that at the time of the autopsy. For us, it didn't matter, but it will take. It's not going to be that you're shot and you suddenly collapse. There is a time period where it will take for the blood to come out of the body, reduce the blood volume so that the heart no longer has enough blood to pump up to the brain to
Jamie, I'm
the
quitting.
oxygen it needs.
And how is it that the blood is going to come out?
Why?
Is it come out rapidly?
It's hell. This case is so slow. This guy is well, he's telling something interesting, but it's hard to hear. We can't see the evidence, and I'm a misogynist, so I don't like men.
Oh, so it hasn't gotten much better today.
No, and apparently we might have to take a rain check on this afternoon because rumor has it it's 4 hours of video that we can't
What?
see. Yeah, it's all her interrogation video, and we can't see any of that. I'm taking a big old pass on that one. Recovery Addict can't cover that because he has more patience than I have.
I don't blame you. Oh my God, that would be the worst.
Yeah.
Going to splatter
I'm
a
doing the
lot?
toilet.
Yes, so you have both an arterial bleed and a venous bleed. So the vein is returning blood from the bottom of the foot. That's a low pressure system. It will ooze or it'll accumulate in the muscular tissue. The artery, on the other hand, each time the heart pumps, blood is going to be spurting out of that artery. If that artery has a clear path out the hole, the exit hole, then you will get blood coming out of that hole, and that's where you see, like in the movies, the arterial spread. If there's not a clear pathway from the hole in the artery because it's blocked by muscle or tissue, then they'll
Guy's
continue
an
to
interesting
spurt,
character.
but it'll come out, it may not come out as a spurt out of the hole when it leaks. It may accumulate in the tissues and then dribble out.
Now, I want to talk about toxicology. Was a toxicology test performed on the victim?
Yes.
And what were the results of that test, Dr. Mathis?
I'm just referencing the toxicology report. So in him was detected ethanol, which is beverage alcohol like you'd find in vodka or tequila. He had cocaine. He had metabolites of cocaine, the breakdown products, and he had
Tequila,
THC,
cocaine.
which is the active ingredient in marijuana.
And how much cocaine was detected in his blood?
He had, according to the report, 0.274 milligrams per liter.
Would you say that's a lot of cocaine, Dr. Mathis, a little bit of cocaine?
It's a healthy amount of cocaine.
What's
And
a healthy
based on your
amount of
experience, Dr.
cocaine?
Mathis, what is it that cocaine does to the body or blood?
So cocaine is a stimulant. So it causes your heart to increase. It will increase your blood pressure. It narrows the blood vessels. That's how it increases the blood pressure. And like I said, makes your heart race. It's an upper.
Based on your exam, Dr. Mathis, did the cocaine contribute to the victim's death?
No,
Why do you say that?
because he's got a gunshot wound that went through his femoral artery and he's bleeding out, dying from hemorrhagic shock.
Did any of the substances that he had in his blood system contribute to his death?
No.
So I want to talk about the cause and manner of death. Based on your examination, were you able to determine the cause of death?
Yes.
What was it?
That was the gunshot wound of the right thigh.
So how long would it have been, Dr. Mathis, based on your training and experience, it would take someone to bleed out or die from that injury?
Like I said, it can take several minutes.
Were you able to determine the manner of death?
Yes.
What was the manner of death?
Homicide.
Moment to confer, Judge. Dr. Mathis, and I want to go back to the external injuries you observed.
Yes.
If the victim was running away, I'm doing this.
Yes.
He's running with his left foot up. If he's doing this, is that consistent with what the shot that you observed, the wounds you observed on his body?
If he's in a running position, yes. The left foot has to be in the air and the right foot has to be forward.
So if he's running away, that's consistent.
Yes.
Okay. Now, I want to talk about ricocheting. Is it possible that the person who shot the victim shot into the ground and that it went through his left foot and out through his left thigh? Is that possible what you saw here?
I find that extremely unlikely. So when you have a ricochet, when you first fire the weapon, it has all the energy in it. That's why it can make characteristic appearances of gunshot wounds. In this case, the bullet not only went through the shoe, the boot, twice, went in and went out, went through the foot, went through the thigh, in, and came out. That takes a lot of energy. So ricochet is, one, not going to be able to do that, and two, the wound on the back of the thigh would have had to have, if it managed to even get out of the left shoe, which I find very unlikely, that you would have a ricochet that actually can go through the shoe, go through the foot, come out the shoe. When it hits that right thigh, it's not going to have that nice oval wound that you saw. So I can't see this being a ricochet, no.
talk about, again, the arteries that were damaged. Is a time delay in the time, from the time that the victim was shot, if there was a time delay in calling 911 or having assistance, would that also likely contribute to his death?
So when you have a wound like that, those are devastating injuries that require immediate medical attention. The wound needs to the blood flow needs to be stopped. Basically, you need to put a tourniquet tight around the wound to stop the blood flow into the leg. And then, of course, you're on a clock because the leg's not getting the nutrients it needs, and you would have to amputate. But a femoral artery wound is a devastating injury. So yes, if you don't receive medical attention, you will die quicker.
So if there was a delay in calling 911 or getting assistance or putting a tourniquet on the victim, that's going to speed up the time he dies.
Yes.
Now I want to talk about the drugs in his system.
Yes.
I know you mentioned earlier that those didn't contribute to his death.
Correct.
Would you say, doctor, based on your training and experience, that the drugs slowed down the amount of time he died, it took him to die?
So there are some people who would say, okay, cocaine is a stimulant. So a lot of times when people get shot, they get an adrenaline rush. They may not even feel that they were shot until they look down and they see that they are bleeding. That adrenaline rush, adrenaline is also a stimulant, also causes the heart to beat faster and the blood vessels to constrict, which will increase your pressure. So cocaine as a stimulant could, in fact, actually help the situation because it's causing the blood vessels to be more constricted than they ordinarily would be, which is going to increase his blood pressure, which could theoretically increase his survivability period. But you
should have done more cocaine.
Arteries.
He made us survive.
Yeah.
Thank you. What was it, the third judge?
So of course this is not medical advice, but as Jamie said, do more cocaine if you want to get shot.
Yeah. Oh, that was a good one.
Not to state the obvious, but just to be absolutely clear. We've got 2 entrance wounds and 2 exit wounds on this gentleman.
Correct.
But this is all from 1 bullet, 1 shot, correct?
It's consistent with that. So if the circumstances indicate that there's 1 bullet, 1 firing, this is the most reasonable way it happened.
There's nothing that you're aware of that would suggest to you or indicate to you that there was more than 1 shot in this particular instance, correct?
Right. Look, I have 2 through and through wounds. So could they have occurred through 2 separate shots? If that's what the scene and the circumstances supported, I'm not going to be able to refute you on that. But my understanding is if there's 1 shot, 1 bullet fired, this is how it would occur.
So what we're talking about here is a bullet that went in through this man's heel.
Tanya, I have to disagree. Rehabbing baby squirrels won't save you from gunshot wounds. That's not what the doctor said.
Oh, baby squirrels. How cute.
Next project at Jamie's house.
Out of another
Baby pigeons, baby
and
squirrels,
then
you
went
know.
into his leg and came out of another part of his leg. Is that correct?
Yes, the right thigh and then out the front of the right thigh.
Have you, how many autopsies have you done?
Probably is 2000.
As best you can recollect, have you ever observed or do you have any knowledge of a single gunshot wound taking that particular trajectory?
I've had single gunshot wounds go through both legs. I've had them go through the arm and the chest, through a foot and then the leg, a foot and then the opposite thigh. One does not come to mind.
You would agree that this is a highly unusual trajectory for 1 bullet, correct?
I wouldn't say unusual. It makes sense. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's unusual. I would say it's not a pathway we encounter every day.
Now, when someone has an injury like this man had and aid is being rendered, Am I correct that one of the first things you want to do is put a tourniquet on the person's leg?
Yes, you want to mitigate the blood loss. So that's going to be pressure, tourniquet, stops the blood flow from stop the blood flow above the level of the injury.
And that was done in this case, correct? That was administered?
There, he came in with a tourniquet on, so at some point one was placed on him.
Now, the amount of cocaine that this man had in his system, you testified earlier that it's not part of the cause of death, correct?
That's correct.
However, that amount, it is a potentially lethal amount, is it not?
Any amount of cocaine is technically potentially lethal.
But this amount, this isn't just any amount, this is a...
This is a goodly amount, yes. A
goodly
goodly
amount.
It's not, it's not, just a small amount. It's consistent with recreational use. It's not like somebody you see like a body packer or anything like that. But it's not just, sometimes we'll see people, regular cocaine users, and they're probably coming down and they have just a tiny little bit of cocaine coming along for the ride. He's using, yes.
So this is in Miami, there's cocaine in Miami. But this is not just... Like
Why is this funny to me?
Rather significant amount.
I don't know. Gina, yes, they hired a lawyer and everyone is celebrating on the anti side because she won $105 million settlement or lawsuit in California. We've been trying to look into her a little bit, my Wonder Mods and I, and we can't see if she won the lawsuit or she was part of the team that won the lawsuit. So why is she jumping in on a case so far away? Is she doing this on contingency? Is there, with the not guilty in the trial, is there some ethical obligations you might have to tell the O'Keefes that, hey, maybe you should also look at suing the McAlberts? It could be a whole lot of a mess to get someone in like her. Maybe they wanted their own Alan Jackson on the team. I don't know where they have the money, because one thing is she does it on contingency, but there's still room and board that they need to pay for and traveling. It's an expensive lawyer to go all the way to California. And again, her merits on her website is, yeah, she won some cases, but we don't know if it was before she made her new company or her company won them or how, whatever.
This man took, right?
Yes, Supermod. Brandon is the one who is looking into all of this and giving me the deeds on it. The kid is just, but can we do snitch and bits on Discord again? Brandon is the guy who is doing all the hard work, as always.
Is recreational use of cocaine. It's not, like I said, it's not the little bit we see with somebody that's coming down. They're in the active phase of using.
Now, am I correct that that when somebody's using cocaine and they use other substances, particularly alcohol, that increases the toxicity of cocaine, correct?
It can, yes.
Okay. That combination, cocaine and alcohol, it produces a metabolite called cocaethylene, correct?
That's correct.
And in your autopsy, you tested for cocaethylene, correct?
Yes.
And he had 0.150 milligrams per liter of cocaethylene in his blood, correct?
Yes.
And when looking at the alcohol, he had 0.108 blood alcohol level. Is that correct?
0.108 in the ocular fluid, 0.107 in the blood.
So if he had been operating a motor vehicle, he would have been driving under the influence.
Correct.
Because the legal limit in this state is 0.08.
That's correct.
Right. So he had this very high amount of cocaine in his blood, along with this amount of alcohol in his blood, which would have been enough to trigger DUI and even driving.
Objection, President, calls for legal conclusion.
Yes.
And he also smoked some weed too, correct?
At some point, he used marijuana. I cannot tell you how he used it, and I cannot tell you when.
Now, doctor, you were asked about whether or not some of these substances delay or could affect how long it takes somebody to bleed out. Can you explain that a little bit more, please?
Yes, so just as I explained before, cocaine is a stimulant, and it, just like the adrenaline rush that will occur when somebody gets an injury, it will increase your blood pressure through constricting your arteries. and it will cause your heart to beat faster.
Now, when someone's shot, do you expect them to necessarily start bleeding out right away, or does it take a few moments before blood starts coming out of somebody's body? I mean, usually.
When they're shot, they'll start bleeding right away. You may not see it on the outside of the body, but trust me, they're bleeding somewhere. So they get shot in the chest. They are bleeding into whatever space is around them. So in the chest, you have a lot of space for the lungs to expand. They're going to bleed into the chest. While you get shot in the leg, you're going to be bleeding into the muscles, the soft tissues there. Only when the body is in a position where the hole that leads to the outside is lined up with where the blood is, will it come out. So oftentimes we'll get to a scene of murder. They've got a bunch of holes in their chest. There's not really that much blood out. When we start to move the body and we've tipped it, then blood will start coming out of the holes.
So it might take a little bit of time before you start seeing blood dripping and landing on the floor from somebody who's been shot.
Correct. It just depends how the hole lines up with where the blood is accumulating.
So if somebody's
Don't play dumb. We know what we're talking about.
or in any type of movement, they get shot, but they're moving, you might not start to see a blood trail until they've taken a few steps, correct?
This is civil litigation. Everything has to come out of their pocket.
Correct.
Now, so you were asked about whether certain things are consistent with your findings. I want to give you a scenario, and you can tell me if it's consistent with what you found. Okay?
Yep.
So let's assume that we have somebody who is very high on cocaine and alcohol and THC. And that person is running around stalking somebody outside their home. Okay?
Yes.
That person is told to leave. They don't leave. At some point, there's a confrontation, and the person is asked again to leave. The person screams and says, I want to die, I'm ready to die. And then they run towards a house with the intention of breaking into that house, which they have no right to be in. And a person fires a shot in that person's general direction for the sole purpose of getting that person to leave, which they have thus far refused to leave. Are you with me so far?
Yes.
Objection, based on province of the jury.
What
What?
does this have to do with him?
He was shot running away. Is he now saying that he was shot, the bullet hit something and ricocheted back into him?
I think that's what he was trying to say earlier. Could it have been like a ricochet or something like that?
Yeah, but that would most likely deform the bullet and totally change the entry wound.
You would think.
Yes, finish asking questions. We hear the rest of the question.
Fires a gunshot for the purpose of getting that person to leave, which that person has refused to leave up until that point. Once that gunshot is fired, that person starts to leave. You would not expect that person to immediately bleed onto the ground and show where that person was standing at the time he was shot. Is that correct?
He could be bleeding at that time, or he could start to bleed later. I can't tell you one way or the other.
So if blood droplets are found, say, 15 steps away from a front door, give or take, 15 steps away from that front door, could that be consistent with somebody running away from that front door after being shot?
So you have the front there shot. Are you telling me where the person was shot, or?
So the person's running towards the front door with the intent of breaking into this house, which they.
Objection, legal conclusion. Based on province of the jury. Overruled. You can answer the hypothetical.
Correct.
Go ahead and hear that.
The person was told, leave. I don't want you here. You're not welcome here. Get out.
Okay.
I'm not getting out. You're going to have to kill me. Runs towards the door. Shot is fired for the purpose of getting that person to leave. Shot hits.
He's going with the ricochet, but that makes no sense because the.
But well, he's trying to say that he couldn't bleed right away. He might not have bled right away, right?
Yeah, but the blood has nothing to do with the entry wounds.
Well,
the entry wound is because if you have a person who is going this way, he has his leg out here and then he has his other leg up here. And you have your pew here. And you then pew something over here, and the pew goes into that, turns around, and then goes into his foot, leg, and ends up in his other thigh. That's the scenario, because we know from this guy that this person was most likely in a running motion where he was going forward and then pew through this leg and into it's a little. This is what he testified. It's this way. Now he wants to say, well, what if the pew was over here and then it hit something over here and then it jumped back on him? That makes no sense.
I mean, from what I'm getting out of what he's questioning, because what he was saying earlier is because the state is trying to, I mean, they're showing that he was running away when he got shot.
Yeah, that's
he
what I'm
wants
saying.
to say that, yeah, but he's wanting to say he might not bleed right away if he got shot while he was running towards the door, because I guess there's blood away from the house.
But that's not that's the blood has nothing to do with the bullet.
No, but they're trying to say that because there's no blood like at the door, that she was shooting him when he was running away versus.
It doesn't change anything. The only thing that changes anything is what part of the body did it hit him. Because it maybe his artery constricted because he was high on cocaine. But you can look at a wound and tell if it's an entry or an exit wound, because it'll balloon out if it's an exit wound. And his testimony is he was in a running motion and got hit from behind. If he was running towards the house, it doesn't matter if there's blood or no blood. The bullet trajectory will still be the same. If there's blood here or there's blood 15 meters away or 20 meters away, his body position would still be that he was running away from the house. If not that, she must have fired a warning shot, which is, I believe, also illegal in Florida, hit something that bounced it back and hit him from behind. Then he turned around and ran away after that. The blood is absolutely not important. Blood is blood. It'll come out of you at some point. It's the bullet trajectory, and the bullet's path was from behind through the foot angle and into the thigh. He said with this trajectory, he was most likely running and shot from behind. So what he's saying is he ran towards the house and then he turned around and ran away, and that's why the blood started later. It wouldn't matter anyway, because you have to figure out which way the bullet went, and the bullet went this way. The bullet didn't go this way, and you can tell that by you can't turn the wounds around and say, well, could they have gone in the other way? So they went into the thigh first, because that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that's what.
So let me just ask you again.
Yes, please.
This man is whacked out of his mind on cocaine, alcohol, marijuana. He's been asked to leave. He refuses to. He's in a heightened state, very aggressive. Screams, I'm ready to die. I want to die. It's not leaving. It's not welcome in the house. It doesn't have permission to be in the house. Has no license or has no authority, no right to be in that house. He's going to that house, running towards that door, shots fired for the purpose of getting him to leave, which he has already refused multiple times to do so. Shot goes into his body. Once that happens, he's not going to the house anymore, he's running away. He takes about 15 steps running away from the house, give or take, 15 steps before blood starts to drip out and hit the ground. Is that consistent with what you've seen here, with the wounds in this case? Could that have happened?
No.
So you're asking if could he have been shot while still inside the house before leaving? Is that-
He didn't get inside the house. He was running towards the front door, is
No.
shot, and now the shot is what caused him to abandon his attempt to go into that house.
Okay.
So now he's running away from the house,
Okay.
and he makes it about 15 steps, give or take, 15 steps away from the house before you start seeing a trail of blood on the ground.
Okay.
Is that consistent with this? Does that make sense?
It can happen that way, yes.
Okay.
Like I said, he could start bleeding immediately, or it could take several steps to begin.
But he
start
couldn't
bleeding.
be running
The
towards the
scenario that I
house.
just laid out for you, this is not a wildly impossible or unlikely or ridiculous scenario. This is consistent with what you.
The state has to go up and say, you just confirmed that he was shot from behind, and now you said to the defense that he was shot from the front, and that could have happened. Do you want to rephrase that answer?
What you see, correct?
Yeah, it's one way it could happen. I can't tell you for sure that he didn't start bleeding for 15 steps. I also can't tell you for sure, oh, he would have started bleeding immediately.
And nobody knows for sure, except for the people who would have been there, right?
Correct.
Thank you, Doctor.
Dr. Mathis, you were asked on cross-examination about if a tourniquet was placed on the victim, it would help slow down the bleeding.
If placed tight enough, yes.
You don't know when a tourniquet was placed on the victim in this case, do you?
No.
So if there was a delay in when the tourniquet was placed, would that slow down the bleeding or cause him not to die?
The delay in the tourniquet, he'll be bleeding the entire time until a tourniquet is put on, tightly. So anytime up until that tourniquet is put on, pressure's not being applied, the wound's going to be bleeding. You may not be able to see it on the outside, but it'll be bleeding on the inside.
So if a person waits 10 minutes to call 911 and the officers then take some time to get there after, would that contribute to the victim's death as well?
Yes.
Now, you were asked about the blood coming out, and they're coming out of holes, and it may not bleed at that time, or it may. If a person is running away, would the blood start coming out?
It should, because now you're moving the leg, you're advancing it forward, you're causing manipulation, just like I told you. When we start flipping the body, the blood starts pouring out of the hole. So as you're moving, the blood you should start leaving a blood trail.
You're also asked about hypotheticals, so I want to pose one to you. If a person goes outside, they're on the steps, they pick up a gun, they point it at the victim sees the gun, in fear for his life, turns around and runs away, and that person shoots. Is that consistent with what we have here today?
Can you repeat your question?
Yes. A person picks up a gun, aims it at the victim in fear for his life, turns around, runs away, and the person shoots the victim. Is that consistent with what we have here today?
Yes, it could happen that way.
Thank you, Judge. No further questions.
Judge, we agree cross on that question.
Yep.
Judge, I would ask that we go sidebar.
I haven't heard anything yet, so now it's time. Go ahead.
You were asked about a victim who's in fear for his life, running away, right?
Yes.
That's the question she just asked. Would you expect somebody who's in fear of their life to say, "I'm ready to die"?
Objection, Judge. Speculation.
Jesus.
Yeah. And I didn't hear him say that. I know
I
some of you
can't.
heard it. I heard something else.
Thank you.
It should be upon the
All right,
jury to
thank
be
you.
the fact finder.
That was a bit dramatic.
Yeah, he's a little bit dramatic. But again, it should be for the jury to decide what is said, because I hear something totally different than other people in that. I hear it as him saying, "Don't do it. I don't want to die." But other people heard, like he screamed, "I'm ready to die," and that just proves that the eyewitness and ear witnesses are dependent on the quality of the ears and eyes on that person and the memory. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and you can be easily manipulated if somebody says this is what it says. You start hearing that.
All rise for the
You
jury.
guys can self-govern with water in there.
What? You can suck government in the water in there.
What?
What's she talking about?
I don't know what you heard.
Yeah, the ME got easily confused. I would actually have loved a visual of the trajectory on something like Mr. Bender. Because he got confused and just said it could happen if someone was running towards. He should have been cleared, and this is the state. It wasn't the ME's problem. The state should have come up and said, could he have been shot from the front and have sustained these injuries? And I know she said turn around, run away, but she didn't do it clearly enough, I believe. Did they go on break?
Well, I don't know what she had said. I missed it. If she said sleep or something. Because it might be lunchtime. They seem to always go around this time.
I agree, John. I hear about every third, every fifth word she's saying. I found out the other day that if you look carefully at the table, can I find the picture? They are recording the audio through, I believe, through this microphone that's laying on the table. That's why it makes such a noise when whenever they are putting anything on the table. That's just a microphone laying there because the mic on the stand, I don't think it works. And I don't know if this one works. We can hear this podium, but I believe it's this microphone that picks up the witnesses, and the judge doesn't have a working microphone, so she's going to be picked up by the same microphone down here. So it's horrible. You can't hear anything.
Mm-hmm.
Can we go back and figure out what she said?
All rise for the
You
jury.
guys can self-govern with water in there. Ready? Bathroom, yeah, let's go real quick. Bathroom. Ready?
All rise for the
You
jury.
guys can self-govern with water in there.
What?
I don't know.
I really don't understand. But are we on break or are we not on break? Maybe today. Pim, 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 pim. And another thing, if why would she go and pick him up and then she didn't want him into the house? That's one of those where you're thinking, what? That makes no sense.
Yeah, I didn't get that either. So she went over there to get him, but then don't you dare come in.
Yeah, then she didn't want him in the house when he came home. So she went and picked him up to throw him out of the house.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I heard too.
I think it's 16. Yeah, 16. Yeah. Good afternoon. Can you please introduce yourself to the members of the jury?
Yes, my name is Sergio Cremasini,
And where do you work?
the Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office,
And what's your title there?
a sergeant at the moment.
How long have you worked at the sheriff's office?
I was hired September 16 of 2013,
What unit do you work in currently?
the Homicide Bureau.
And do you have any training or experience on cell phone extractions?
Yes, I do.
Can you please tell the members of the jury what that is, your training and experience there?
Sure. So within my current role within the Homicide Bureau, I'm the supervisor of a specialized unit within the Homicide Bureau. And within that unit, myself as well as some of the detectives that are assigned to me, we've attended various trainings in the areas of digital forensics, specifically cell phones, as well as just general cellular records as well.
And in order to work in that unit, do you have to go through that training?
Yes, in order to conduct the work that we do, there are prerequisite and required trainings.
And I think you already said this already, but specialized training specifically for cell phone extraction, that's something that you have to do?
Yes, so there's a few different trainings in regards to actually conducting the cell phone extractions that I've taken, specifically by a company called Cellbrite, which is the primary, one of the primary softwares that are utilized in conducting these extractions. And with those trainings, they're broken up into a few different areas, but primarily in the actual extracting or downloading the data from a cell phone or an electronic device, and then processing that data that's downloaded as well.
Okay, and generally speaking, how do cases get assigned?
Are you asking in the context of myself or in just a case in
cell phone
general?
extraction, I'm sorry.
So in the case of, or in the circumstance of a cell phone extraction, it could be as simple as the detective, whoever it may be, just picking up the phone and calling and just informing us of whatever assistance they may need.
Okay, and generally speaking, is this, let's say a detective calls you up and says, hey, Sergeant, I want you to extract the phone, or is it randomly assigned?
So within my unit specifically, it's myself and a detective, one other detective that I supervise that has the training and the equipment to conduct that. So within my unit, the phone call would ultimately end with either myself or that other detective.
Now, were you involved in a case PD 220625210513?
Yes, I was.
How did you get involved in that case?
So in that case, in this case, I was provided ultimately with 2 cellular telephones to attempt to conduct forensic extractions.
Who provided those to you?
The relevant telephone is from a detective, Daniel Morales.
Now, you said relevant phone. What are you talking about there?
So of the 2 phones that were provided, one of the phones I was able to obtain a full extraction from due to the password being provided. The other phone was an iPhone that was password protected, and the password was not known. And due to the state of the phone, an extraction was not able to be conducted on that other device.
Now, I want to talk about that for a moment. Did you attempt to extract that cell phone?
Yes, I did.
Were you ever able to extract any data from that cell phone?
No.
Okay. Were you ever provided a password to that cell phone?
I was, but it was unsuccessful.
Now, when that detective got you the phone or gave you possession of that phone, was that with a warrant or did you just unlock it yourself?
No, it was the device with the accompanying property receipt as well as the search warrant.
Now, how do you identify a phone that you are going to extract?
Well, depending on how it's provided, but typically in an instance where a search warrant is provided, it would be whatever is identifying features are explained in the search warrant, and that then in conducting a physical review of the device to ensure that it's the correct device that accompanies the legal process.
Now, after you confirm that you have the correct phone, what do you do, if anything?
So typically you take that device and you just do a visual of it, ensure that it's working, that it's powered on, and then from there take it to a specialized equipment and then begin the extraction of that device.
Okay. Can you explain to the members of the jury what a Faraday room or Faraday box is?
Yes. So pretty much think of it as a large room that any signal cannot get into. So if you were to take your phone inside, it would be completely shielded from any Wi-Fi, any cellular, or any sort of connection that could communicate with the phone. So it isolates it completely from any sort of outside signal.
Okay. And generally speaking, does data change on a phone?
It can, yes.
Okay. How does it change, or is there anything to stop it from changing?
So with any cell phone, there's always going to be things that change on the phone just by the way that phones work. There's always things happening in the background. There's always applications that are open, or And there's always things that are continually evolving. That doesn't mean that the files themselves change, but there are additional files and additional logs and records that occur just with the phone being on.
Now, I know that we talked about this briefly, but once you plug a phone into a computer, what happens with that? Do you download the phone? How do you go about that? Is there a program?
Yes, so in this case, I utilized a piece of equipment manufactured by a company called Graykey. And with that, after unlocking the phone and connecting it to the equipment, it downloads a full extraction of the phone.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So essentially, you can think of a phone as a library and the contents being the individual sections. So that equipment takes and it stores and copies all of the contents that are on that phone.
Once a phone is actually extracted, do you do anything to verify the data that was on the phone that you properly extracted it?
Yes, so upon all of the data being downloaded, there is a process that's called a generating of a hash. And a hash is pretty much consider it a digital fingerprint that can be run or compared against any file. And if just one bit of information, the most minute thing changes, there's going to be a different value that's generated. So that's a way that once that extraction is complete, the state of the extraction and the data that was downloaded can be verified that it is the same and that is continuously the same and does not change.
Let's talk specifically about when you first extracted this phone. Did you do that and confirm that the data that was extracted was the same data that was on that phone?
So the hash initially is generated automatically in the process of extracting the phone. And then when I take that data and upload it to a second software.
No, it's not hashtag, it's hash values. It's something that is in the, if you watch the Can Read case, you know that that's how they talk about it.
Which actually interprets the data. The data, a hash is generated again and compared to the initial one, verifying that that it is in fact the same data and that what was utilized to generate a report is from the same contents.
Okay. And once that phone actually is extracted, what do you do with that data? Do you give it to somebody? Do you keep it yourself?
Yes, so after uploading it into secondary software that actually takes that file from the phone and turns it into something that you can read, I generate a report and provide that over to the detective to review the contents.
And did you do that in this case?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Judge, permission to retrieve evidence and permission to publish. Thank you. Detective, I do not know if you can see how my screen here because it's a little small, but can you tell us what we're actually looking at right here?
So this is what's going to be called a Cellbrite reader, and this is it's the end product, so to speak, of what the extraction and the data contained within the phone ultimately, how it ultimately appears.
Now, you mentioned a moment ago.
Notice her, she's constantly looking at someone in the courtroom. The judge instructed the other day that she wasn't to communicate with people.
There was a phone that was provided to you by Detective Danny Morales. Is that this data?
Yes, so the case number, there's going to be a case number there at the top left, and that's going to be the digital forensics unit case number that was assigned for the extraction of that specific device.
I want to show you a few specific points from this phone.
You need to step down.
Thank you, Judge.
So Detective, yeah, that's you actually. Can you just tell us right here what the date and time that this where it says created?
Hold on a second, maybe you should position yourself and you position yourself.
So for this particular file, June 25th, 2022, 3:06 p.m.
Okay, and we see that this video is how long?
6 minutes and 57 seconds.
And we
I'm
see.
sorry, I hate to interrupt. Is this in evidence?
Yes,
Do you have to mark it?
it's already in evidence. It's been moved yesterday.
Oh, what number was it?
16.
16. Okay, so remember folks, this is in evidence. So if you need to look at it in the future as you deliberate, it is accessible to you. Go ahead.
So we see how long is this video?
6 minutes and 57 seconds.
And if you tell me what the timestamp is right here. It's at the 6 minute and 7 second mark. And we see an individual right here. So at 6 minutes, 7 seconds after 3:06, can you generally tell us what time that is? Right about 3:12, 3:13 a.m. So this video would have been created, or this portion of this video would have been about 3:12, 3:13, you said? Yes. Let me just publish this.
Is someone taking a leak?
What is that from?
What was it?
It was a video.
Can you tell us the date and
You
time?
can hear a gunshot.
June 24th.
I couldn't hear any gunshot.
And we see.
In the very beginning, it sounds like a gunshot.
Yes. And it's
To me, it sounded like someone was taking a leak.
yes, the previous day. Let me publish this video now. Finally, we have this one. Can you tell us the date and time of this video was created? June 24th, 2022, at 1:43 p.m. And so again, that 3:06 video that we saw, this was earlier in that evening as well. Yes. I'll publish this video. So I'm going to go back and actually look at more things here. Let me open up. Detective, I want to bring your attention to these two items, number 13 and 14. Can you tell us number 14 what it says?
It's going to be an outgoing call, marked or dial to 9911.
And can you tell us the date and timestamp there?
June 25th, 2022, 3:21, and a couple seconds, AM in the morning.
And right above it, number 13, can you tell us what that call is?
So same, just, 1 line less, and it's also gonna be an ongoing call.
So it's fair to say that's a call to 911 emergency services?
Yes.
And the date and time on that?
June 25th, 3:21 a.m.
The first video that we saw, that first timestamp was at 3:06 a.m. and it was 6 minutes long, give or take.
Yes.
And you testified earlier that that means with that timestamp of when we saw an individual walking in front, that was about 3:11, 3:12, 13. Is that correct? And obviously 3:21 is a 10-minute delay.
About.
Let me move on here, and I'm going to scroll down to the bottom of this video where it says social media. Can you just tell members of the jury what these two things are right here?
So the first one would be Facebook, and the usage of just the Facebook application, and then we'll TikTok, another social media application.
Okay, sorry, Facebook and TikTok are social media account?
Yes.
Let me ask you about Instagram. Is Instagram also a social media account?
Yes, Instagram actually is currently owned by Facebook.
Okay, if you could tell us what we're looking at right here.
So this is going to be within the user accounts section of the phone extraction, where it's going to categorize, just generally speaking, any accounts that were on the phone. Not limited just to social media, but any email accounts, social media accounts, things like that are going to be categorized in this section. And this one specifically is a Instagram account.
Can anyone hear anything?
That they utilize on this cell phone.
Okay, and this, excuse me, this Instagram account would have been utilized on this phone?
Yes.
Meaning that this is this person's Instagram account?
I'm sorry, ask it again?
This Instagram account would be belonging to this phone or have been accessed by this phone?
Yes, this is indicative of that account having been utilized on that specific device.
And if you could just publish the images of
That right there. Daisy Link.
Great, I have no further questions, Your Honor.
What?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Your excuse. Thank you. All right, folks, we'll go ahead and take our lunch break now. Let's come back so that we're ready to start right at 2 o'clock. So I'm giving you an hour and 15 minutes to plan to eat and also travel time. There should be less foot traffic in the building today. We don't have more reserve policy on Fridays. These are my instructions about ignoring the parties as well as the sleep, you bump into them in the hallways, etc. Please don't talk about this case among yourselves, and please do not do research about this case. If you become aware of any violations to the orders that I remind everyone every day, please bring it to my attention as well as my daily notes. He will take your notes, just like he's been doing all week, and he'll tell you where to meet him so that we can reconvene start talking at 2 o'clock.
Third floor, please. All rise for the jury.
All right, jury has left. What Clemency just testified to, the jury can't take it back with them, right?
Well, so this is her phone. What we can do is Mr. Johnson and I can sit down and agree on certain items, but into a demonstrative to send back to the jury.
What?
Obviously, there are stuff on this phone that cannot go back. It will obviously be depending on cross-examination and rebuttal, because there are text messages I can publish to the jury from this phone on cross and potentially rebuttal as well. But we can sit down and
Okay, cross that bridge, get there, if you guys don't do that, that's not possible. They just ask to see certain items and then we just publish
Yeah,
in open court.
yeah.
Alright, should we come back in about 45 minutes? I'll give everyone a 45-minute lunch break. We'll come back at 1:30 and then we'll go over the statement. Does that work?
We just received it. If you could tell me when.
Yes, Your Honor, it's an hour, 32 minutes, and 26 seconds.
So we should be able to rest of that.
Alright, fair enough. I just want to make sure that you show the areas that are agreed upon for the redactions, the areas that are not agreed upon for the redactions at 1:30 when we come back. I can give you my ruling.
Sure.
But it seems like at least 90-95% of the parties are agreed, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
And,
I
when
actually don't think there are any disagreements, I'm sorry.
we're not gonna be using any, written transcripts for them to follow along.
No, unfortunately, as I mentioned to the court in an email yesterday, Mr. Tomas, the vendor, for whatever reason, did not provide a full transcript. The only thing that we were able to do was generate an AI transcript.
Look, it's what it is. I think at the end of the day, unless it's an agreed upon official transcript, they always rely on the evidence that they're using, right?
Yes.
That's the default instruction. So, okay. Mr. Tomas, unless you agree that this AI generated one can be used as demonstrative, they shall rely on their memory. I'm sorry, oral tape. If you want, we can show them these, the AI generated, transcript. If you agree it can be used as an aid, I'll let you tell me that at 1:30.
Your Honor, one of the issues I'd like to raise with that is that that doesn't have the appropriate redactions to match up
Oh, I
with the
see.
video.
All right, then forget that idea. All right, so we'll just look at the video, and, so we'll come back at 1:30, okay? Actually, why don't you come back at 1:35, so I don't have the full 45 minutes. 1:35. My meeting's due open.
35? Or
Yeah,
45?
1:35.
135, all right.
1:35, sorry. Okay, opportunity.
So this afternoon's entertainment will be an hour and 30 minutes of a video we can't see anything of. Potentially, you can't hear anything.
Sounds terrible.
Sounds absolutely horrible. So I put a poll up. So far, Baker taken a movie night is winning. I'm thinking they're gonna rest after that video. If anything interesting happens, I'm already trying to get the new transcript in Fitzsimmons, so I'm gonna cover that over the weekend. If anything happens in that video, because they are gonna fight about, did she say that, or did they give her the Miranda rights? And it's gonna be all hell. It's the video of her interrogations. We can't see anything.
I know. And the sound is terrible from the video, so
Yeah,
trying to hear
Brandon,
what she's saying and then not see it. Come on.
Brandon, I can't play movies on the YouTubes because copyrights. All the videos have been absolutely horrendous. That's why yesterday I switched to the feed of the video that was out there, and I just don't think there's going to be much there. The big thing is she shot him, and will the jury believe that or not? One can try. Yeah, one can lose one's channel, Brendan. One have had copyright strikes before because I showed a trailer for a movie. Jamie, there was a request because of Halloween that you should show a Rocky Horror Picture Show on the Discord movie nights.
I mean, maybe.
Jamie hates that movie, so the one who asked can just go jump in a harbor. Now,
It
Lazy
gets
Bum
put
is
on the list, so
people are ruining my day off. It's just going to be nothing. It's going to be
it's not gonna
absolutely
be.
nothing.
It's gonna be torture.
Yeah. People just probably want to hang out with us, Jimmy. That's why, because I'm such a nice person. Well, I'm a misogynist.
Yeah, stop being selfish, people. Think of us.
But it's just, you're sitting here for an hour and a half and you just have to sit here.
What? What happened?
Well, I also have an attention span. Jamie thought, oh, Jamie, I just put on my stone face. The problem is just if he can hear it over there, maybe he can fix some of the audio because he has all the technology. I can't do it, and it's just going to be white noise, I bet. So, but I'm going to send you all over to Recovery Addict, and you can spend the afternoon with him. I'll be trying to see if I can get the newest filing in the Fitzsimmons case, and I will go and work on me not being a misogynist. And if anything interesting comes out, any big bombshells in this case, I'll cover it over the weekend. I don't want to start more X drama. I'm already a misogynist. 2 people hate me, and one hates me because I'm a retard, and the other one says you can't make fun of people with disabilities, which is a retard. So yeah, I don't believe in democracy because it's 51% who says I'm a lazy bum now. No, go watch it with Recovery Addict because it's just going to be boring, and I'm going to be angry, and I don't want to be angry. And we saw the most important video yesterday, and I instead will go and look for some info on that new filing in the Fitzsimmons case. Everyone, I love you all, but not enough that I want to sit and look at a white screen for an hour and a half. If I had something, I could talk over it, but I can't do that. So I love you all, but Jamie said it was okay. But if anything interesting or anything pops in those tapes, we can cut it out and look at it tomorrow because we need something to do. Or on Monday is Columbus Day or something. We need some coverage on Monday as well. I'm going to enjoy my Friday. For once in my life, I'm going to take a Friday off. And even though I'm not seeing you later, well, maybe, I don't know. If anything interesting happens, I will probably do something. Go out there, annoy Brandon, and thanks, Zach, for not showing up today.
What exhibit are you referring to?
I'm going to make this 100, Your Honor.
All right.
100.
100.
Because it is 100%
100%.
correct.
So you literally built a cannon?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
All right, I'm in love.
Go back. Please do that again. Oh, that was the cutest thing I've ever seen.
While I'm waiting for this, did you, whether it's true or not, believe that Mr. Randolph had slept with your wife?
I wouldn't care.
You wouldn't have cared?
No.
Did you believe he had slept with your wife?
No.
Did you believe he slept with your mother-in-law?